Welcome to Simply Explained Academy. Today, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating topics in the world of technology and finance, Bitcoin. If you've heard about Bitcoin but aren't quite sure what it is, don't worry, you're in the right place. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why it's such a big deal. So, what exactly is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a type of digital currency, also known as cryptocurrency. Unlike traditional money like dollars or euros, Bitcoin exists entirely online. You can't hold it in your hand, but you can use it to buy things, send money to people, or even save it as an investment. The most important thing to know about Bitcoin is that it's decentralized. This means it's not controlled by any government, bank, or company. Instead, it operates on a technology called blockchain, which we'll explain in a bit. Bitcoin was created in 2009 by an anonymous person or group, using the name Satoshi Nakamoto. No one knows who's behind Satoshi, but their invention has changed the way we think about money. Bitcoin was introduced as an alternative to traditional financial systems, offering a way to transfer value without relying on intermediaries like banks or governments. So, how does Bitcoin actually work? First off, Bitcoin is completely digital. There are no physical coins or bills. Instead, it's stored in something called a digital wallet. Think of this like an online version of your bank account, but just for Bitcoin. You can access your wallet from your phone, computer, or even a special hardware device made just for storing cryptocurrencies. Some wallets are apps, some are software you install on your computer, and some are physical devices that help keep your Bitcoin extra secure. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Bitcoin runs on something called a blockchain. Imagine a huge digital record book that keeps track of every single Bitcoin transaction. This record is public, meaning anyone can see it, but it's also super secure and nearly impossible to mess with. Here's how it works. Every time someone sends or receives Bitcoin, the transaction is recorded in a block. This block is then added to a chain of previous blocks, creating a permanent record. Because the blockchain is distributed across thousands of computers worldwide, it's very difficult for anyone to cheat the system. The decentralized nature of the blockchain ensures that no single entity has control over the network. This makes Bitcoin resistant to censorship and fraud. And then there's Bitcoin mining. This is the process of creating new Bitcoins and verifying transactions. Miners use powerful computers to solve complex math problems. When they solve a problem, they add a new block to the blockchain and are rewarded with new Bitcoins. This process also keeps the Bitcoin network secure. Mining is a competitive process, and it requires significant computational power and energy. As more miners join the network, the difficulty of the math problems increases, ensuring that new Bitcoins are created at a steady rate. The total supply of Bitcoin is capped at 21 million, making it a scarce asset. So, why was Bitcoin created? Well, it was designed to solve some major problems with traditional money. First off, decentralization. Unlike regular money, Bitcoin isn't controlled by any government or bank. That means no one can freeze your account, and there's no central authority printing more of it, which can cause inflation. Then there's transparency. Every Bitcoin transaction gets recorded on the blockchain, which makes it super easy to verify. Next, we have security. Bitcoin uses some seriously advanced cryptography to keep your money safe and secure. And finally, lower fees. Sending money internationally through banks can be slow and expensive. But with Bitcoin, you can send money anywhere in the world, fast, and with much lower fees. Bitcoin was also designed to provide financial inclusion for people who don't have access to traditional banking systems. In many parts of the world, people are unbanked or underbanked, meaning they don't have access to basic financial services. Bitcoin offers a way for these individuals to participate in the global economy. So, how do you actually get Bitcoin? There are a few ways. You can buy Bitcoin on a cryptocurrency exchange using regular money. Some popular platforms like Coinbase, Binance, and Kraken let you swap fiat currency for Bitcoin. You can also earn Bitcoin. Some companies and individuals pay for goods or services using Bitcoin. For example, if you're a freelancer, you might decide to get paid in Bitcoin. And then there's mining. While you can technically mine Bitcoin, it's not really something the average person can do anymore. It requires expensive equipment and a lot of electricity, plus some technical know-how. So it's more for the experts these days. Once you've got some Bitcoin, you need a place to store it, and that's where digital wallets come in. There are hot wallets and cold wallets. Hot wallets are connected to the internet, like mobile or desktop apps. They're super convenient because you can access your Bitcoin anytime, But since they're online, they're not as secure. Cold wallets are offline storage options, like hardware wallets or even paper wallets. They're way more secure because they're not connected to the internet, but the trade-off is they're a little less convenient. So it's all about balancing convenience and security depending on how you want to store your Bitcoin. So what can you actually do with Bitcoin? Well, it's pretty versatile. First up, buy goods and services. More and more online stores, and even some physical ones, are accepting Bitcoin. Big names like Microsoft, Overstock, and Tesla have all experimented with taking Bitcoin as payment. Next, send money. You can send Bitcoin to anyone, anywhere in the world, almost instantly. It's super useful for things like remittances, where people send money back home to their families in other countries. Then, invest. A lot of people buy Bitcoin as an investment, hoping its value will go up over time. And to be honest, Bitcoin has been one of the best performing assets over the past decade. And finally, save. For some, Bitcoin is a way to store value, especially in countries with unstable currencies. In places facing hyperinflation, Bitcoin gives people a way to hold on to their wealth. Pretty cool, right? So, what actually makes Bitcoin valuable? Let's break it down. First up, scarcity. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. This limited supply makes it valuable, similar to gold. Then there's demand. As more people learn about Bitcoin and want to own it, the price tends to go up. Institutional investors, such as hedge funds and publicly traded companies, have started to invest in Bitcoin, driving demand. And finally, utility. Bitcoin is useful as a form of money, especially for cross-border transactions and as a store of value. Its decentralized nature makes it attractive to those who distrust traditional financial systems. So, is Bitcoin safe? Well, for the most part, yes, but there are a few things you need to watch out for. First up, volatility. Bitcoin's price can jump up and down really fast, so it's not the best option if you're looking for short-term investments. Then there's security. Bitcoin itself is secure, but your wallet? That's where you need to be careful. If you're not taking the right precautions, like using strong passwords and turning on two-factor authentication, hackers could get to it. And finally, scams. The crypto world is still kind of wild and unregulated, so you've got to be on the lookout for fake websites, phishing attempts, and those investment deals that sound way too good to be true. Just be aware, and you'll be better prepared. All right, let's clear up some of the common myths about Bitcoin. First, Bitcoin is only for criminals. Sure, Bitcoin has been used for illegal stuff, but guess what? Traditional money has been used for that too. The truth is, most people using Bitcoin are just regular folks and businesses. Next, Bitcoin is a bubble. People like to say this because its price can go up and down fast. But here's the thing, it's been around long enough to show it's pretty resilient. It's survived multiple market crashes and still keeps growing. And lastly, Bitcoin is too complicated. Look, with a little bit of research, anyone can figure out how to use it. There are tons of resources out there to help beginners get started, so it's not as hard as it seems. So, what's the future of Bitcoin looking like? Well, it's still pretty new. And while we can't say for sure what's going to happen, there are some exciting possibilities ahead. First off, mainstream adoption. More businesses and everyday people could start using Bitcoin for things like buying coffee or paying bills. We might see it become a normal part of our daily lives. Then there's regulation. Governments are still trying to figure out how to handle Bitcoin. The way they decide to regulate it could really affect how we use it and what it's worth. And lastly, technological advances. As the Bitcoin network continues to improve, it could become faster, cheaper, and easier to use. For instance, the Lightning Network is a cool solution designed to speed up Bitcoin transactions and lower the cost. So, it's a pretty exciting time for Bitcoin. Lots of change on the horizon. All right, so you're interested in getting started with Bitcoin? Here's how you can dive in. First, educate yourself. Watch some videos, read a few articles, and join online communities where people talk about Bitcoin. The more you learn, the more confident you'll feel. Next, you'll need to choose a wallet. This is where you'll store your Bitcoin, so pick a secure one to keep everything safe. Then, it's time to buy Bitcoin. Don't go big right away. Start small and buy some Bitcoin on a reputable exchange to get your feet wet. And finally, use Bitcoin. Try sending or even spending some Bitcoin to really get the hang of how it all works. That's it. Just take it step by step and you'll be a Bitcoin pro in no time. So what is Bitcoin? It's a decentralized digital currency that operates on blockchain technology. It's secure, transparent, and has the potential to change the way we think about money. Whether you're interested in using Bitcoin for transactions, investing, or just learning more, it's an exciting space to explore. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.